Welcome to OverSeasoned.
It's only going to take one take.
I actually kicked him out of the restaurant.
Why?
Gotta bitch to someone.
Gotta bitch to somebody, and I'm good to bitch to.
I thought you were from Spain.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Sí soy.
Gotcha.
Soy chorizo.
Oh, no.
You've gone into Martha Stewart land.
It's good. It's just not live.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's like a scene from Cocoon. Like the sun goes down.
You don't want to get blacklisted.
You know what, Mr. President? Is this what you want? Today is December 28th. It is 12:45 p.m. Really documenting this. We're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and welcome to the OverSeasoned podcast with my best friend and partner, Tony Ayazi, chef extraordinaire.
Tony Lemon Pepper Ayazzi.
Tony Lemon Pepper Ayazzi.
And Xavier Smoked Paprika Maria's Corona.
Boom.
It's more Z's than you've ever had.
I like it all. Yeah. Ayazi and Maria's Corona. People love that. It's kind of a dreary day out here.
It just won't snow. It just refuses to snow this year.
It was colder in the beginning, around November, and for some reason it's gotten warmer. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Sean Hurricane Hank can give us some updates on that. But we're here towards the end of the holiday season, and I think a lot of restaurant people are excited to get past the last
big day, New Year's Eve, the one day where restaurant owners want to make up all of the money that they lost throughout the year.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
What about 6 seatings? How about 8?
Yeah.
$7.75 a person.
Are you kidding me? $190 per head is not enough for our prime rib dinner.
We'll start at 3 p.m.
Yeah, we'll start at 3.
Last seating at 2 a.m.
Man.
But we'll include some balloons.
Exactly. We'll do a couple balloons. That'll make up for everything. So this is an interesting part of the year because I feel like October, November, December, traditionally.
Well, that kicks off. When does the season start? Because there's always this talk of the season.
Yeah.
Right? You got to get ready for the season. I felt like it was more intense years and years ago. It seemed to kind of wane somewhat, but kind of October through December is considered the restaurant season.
Yeah.
Right? When you don't quit, no one's allowed to quit. You hire for that time. And
you might not even hire. You probably do your hires in September and August to get ready for this time of the year too. I'd say as soon as the leaves start changing color, people start ordering nicer wines.
A little heavier. The Barolos come out.
The Barolos come out. Butter starts hitting the plate a little more. You're less worried about your figure.
People start, jackets come on.
Waistlines
go out.
And I think everybody also starts to, have this mental perception like, all right, like...
Well, they're going to be doing holiday parties.
It's the holiday season, yeah. So, I would say mid-October for me was always... You could start to feel it.
Right.
And... but I'm not quite sure... what's funny is everybody would always be like, all right, school's back in session, ready to go. And September always sucked.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Agree.
I don't know why.
People aren't quite ready yet. But it starts off with Thanksgiving. I think it's just like 3 main points, right? So Thanksgiving, Christmas, which isn't really a restaurant holiday. You actually get to not work that time. In most cases.
Some very lucky people these days get to have off on Christmas.
You should be off on Christmas.
I think Christmas and Thanksgiving should be off.
Xavier got an email on Christmas Day.
I did.
He penalized the person 48 hours on a response.
I absolutely did. Sorry if you're listening, but you deserved it. So...
Well, what are your favorite things about Thanksgiving service then? Like what? Because that's an enjoyable service. I feel like because it's kind of starting it all off. No one's fatigued about it yet. It's different food.
I think you and I have differing opinions on this.
See, I love Thanksgiving. I hate the day after Thanksgiving because it's like cooking for a different restaurant. So you prep all this stuff. You have to order all this new things. The menu's different. It's kind of crazy and hectic to get set up. And then you do Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then it's regular service on Friday. Not one person wants to see turkey anywhere in a restaurant on Friday because everyone knows that shit is left over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, it's sandwich time.
So Thanksgiving is kind of a fun service. You're like start early, you end early. And then
I think the start
Friday
early part is the fun part. Well, here's what I did like about Thanksgiving service. I really appreciated Thanksgiving for the fact that, your restaurant family, who you end up seeing more than anybody anyway, you end up hanging out with the other cooks and the other servers and whatever all year. That's really your day-to-day family. I mean, you see these people more than you see anybody else. So I did like the idea of like having a nice staff meal with them. But the problem is, if you go into service having eaten like
That's terrible.
7 plates of stuffing and turkey and stuff.
We used to have like you get a little half a glass of wine or something like that.
Oh, yeah?
Just a little bit. And it was the worst idea in the world.
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
be like...
Oh, why? It's like a celebratory half glass of wine before you step into like...
the crazy service. People are lining up outside the door at 2 p.m. Like all of a sudden everyone has to eat at 2. It's crazy.
All right, so here's a question I have for you, because I grew up, as you know, in a Spaniard Puerto Rican household, and we would never dream of going out for Thanksgiving dinner.
I think it's a big city thing.
It's a big
because
city
you don't...
thing.
New York City, you don't even have the space to cook dinner for 6-8 people. It's just
Sure.
not in your regular thing.
Okay.
You got to buy a roasting pan because you don't have anything big enough to fit a turkey in.
Right.
It's just
Fair.
everything's just kind of constricted in that way.
So it has more to do with the fact that you're limited on space and all that
I
stuff.
feel like it. Yeah.
Okay, because I remember like growing up, like if I got straight A's, like maybe I can convince my dad to take us to Chili's. Maybe. But like Thanksgiving, any family occasion, any kind of celebratory holiday, to go out, travesty.
Right.
And nobody's going out.
Right.
So maybe that's something that's instilled or ingrained in me that makes me not like having to work on holidays. Because,
I'd rather have it off.
Right. Fair.
Don't get me wrong.
Right. But
Like
of the major holidays, Thanksgiving was your favorite.
Yes.
Okay,
It was
I would
more
agree with that.
kind of kicking it off, and it was more kind of convivial, and kind of the same menu items every year. So you get into a rhythm and a routine, and you kind of knew. And having a great Thanksgiving service felt really good because it's either great or completely fucking terrible.
I agree.
So getting it
And
done.
would you guys do a flat menu, or would you do the a la carte menu plus Thanksgiving?
I think it was like a prefix. And it would be like 5 apps, 5 entrees. It's one of those things.
Okay.
It'd be like a
Choice
reduced prefix menu.
Reduced prefix. Okay.
And if you got turkey, you got the whole trimmings and all that kind of stuff. But people still got...
Like
I remember
a steak
having like a
or
veal on the menu and a venison with cranberry and sweet potato. Kind of that kind of style stuff.
Got it. Okay, cool.
But, I mean, it was 9 out of 10 were turkey.
Well, and then another interesting part of this is that... one of my favorite parts of the turkey. I mean, we just had Christmas at my girlfriend's house, and it was Thanksgiving all over again. I think a lot of people do that. They just do all the same stuff. And my favorite parts are like the leg, the thigh, the wing. The breast can be good, but it's only good with the skin on it, in my opinion. Even if
It's
you
only
cook it
good
properly.
left over with like a bunch of mayo on a sandwich. The next
Correct.
day.
That as well
Yeah.
is the best. But that's another thing that I just never understood. Like, if I'm going to go out for Thanksgiving and I can't have the wing, like, I've already lost.
Yeah, there's those little bits and stuff you like.
I love those parts.
As a Thanksgiving diner, right? I get you.
Right,
Totally.
correct.
You
Okay,
know,
okay,
that's a different story. You get the whole kind of whatever. You're, picking and grazing and eating deviled eggs and all that kind of good stuff.
Ooh, deviled eggs. I miss those. I'm going to make some.
Really? You had some last night.
No, I haven't had them in a while.
Please.
I think the last time we had them was together at the Spotted Pig, and that's for another show. But so what were your go-to dishes for Thanksgiving when you guys would cook? I mean,
You mean in the restaurant?
in the restaurant, yeah.
I mean, it would be turkey that we'd somehow... I think we got into sous videing at some point, the breast, but we'd make a ballantine out of the leg, so it was totally boneless, filled with stuffing and some kind
What
of
a pain in
mousse.
the ass, huh?
Yeah, but it's way easier to slice and put on a plate.
No, I mean especially the turkey, because the turkey's got all those those pin bones or whatever inside the thigh.
We would just take the thigh, not the drumstick part.
Oh, got it. Okay,
the
got
drumsticks went into the stock to make the gravy and stuff.
Got it. Okay,
So you
cool.
just ballantine out the thigh, wrap it with some mousse and stuffing and Jezier and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. What's
poach.
Jezier?
That's a confit of gizzard.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We'd slice some of those and put them in the sauce also.
Okay, cool.
So we ballotine those. So you just get like a nice slice of the dark meat and then a few slices of the white meat.
Got it.
Mashed potatoes, Brussels sprouts or carrots or what the fuck ever.
Sure.
And then I think 2 stuffings. We do 2 stuffings. It was quite the thing. It was cornbread stuffing and like a regular stuffing. Cornbread sausage stuffing.
Another question. With the plate that you guys would construct, how would you keep the turkey from getting dry? Like the breast, for example.
It was brined, without a doubt.
Okay.
And then you just kind of roasting them in batches. You don't roast it all ahead of time.
Okay.
So you kind of have some ready to go, and they're seared, but then you're,
okay.
And when I can't remember the sous vide thing. I don't know if that worked out or not. Actually, I can't remember if we had enough. I don't think that's false. We didn't do that because you'd need like 35 water baths. So it would
huge water
You're like
baths.
doing it in a steam kettle.
Yeah.
But you'd have them seared and brined and kind of roasted.
And then you just roast a tray off every half hour.
Yeah, you just kind of keep them in this rotation. And you have 2 people with slicers. They'd be like samurai warriors. With 3 sharp slicers, and they just fucking slice.
Nice.
Slice.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So the service went actually really easy. It was simple.
I think from
like a
the
buffet
service,
line.
from the actual service, it's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's catering on a level that's just table by table.
It's like where restaurants start to make sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's totally true.
Wow, reduce choices, make more money,
right?
Keep it easier.
Yeah, everybody's smiling. It's true.
But then the next day was terrible. I think the restaurant should have the day after Thanksgiving.
Black Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Well, that's what it is. That's Black Friday.
Yeah, but then it's busy all over again for no good reason.
And you know what's interesting is
with a different menu.
Yeah.
Everything else is gone, and you're eating family meal of turkey for a week.
Yeah, forever. I don't know, man. Thanksgiving for me is one of those days that I've always, I remember one year I was working Thanksgiving at the Borgata Casino. And I think especially in the casino environment, a lot of Asians don't necessarily, celebrate Thanksgiving, but they're big into playing. They love gambling. Not to generalize, but it was a big Asian crowd. And I remember that day, you had stark differences in the clientele. You had like traditional American families that came in and did the Thanksgiving thing, and then you had like a lot of like gamblers and players, and predominantly Asian that would come in and like get lobsters and all this stuff, and you could just see like 2 really interesting parts of the crowd.
It's funny because I was actually in Hong Kong this year for Thanksgiving.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so I was having dim sum on Thanksgiving Day.
That's pretty cool.
And like Peking suckling pig or something.
Nice.
That was delicious.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, and there was no sign that Thanksgiving had any like place in the culture, right? No, right? Yeah,
no,
that's what I
it's
think.
an American holiday.
That's what I mean, but I didn't know if if the Westernization had seeped into Hong Kong at that point, and you had like a turkey dumpling with
cranberry mustard something.
Yeah, that sounds good. We're on our way. So, but anyway, one year I had a girlfriend come and visit me while I was at the restaurant, and it was really sweet, and I was so happy to have like some sort of family connection outside of the restaurant day-to-day connection that, like I said, we all eat together and whatever. And it's like in these moments where I'm like, man, why did I work that day? Like, how many Thanksgivings have we missed as a restaurant? How many holidays?
I actually didn't.
The holidays. We missed.
I mean, a lot of restaurants are closed on Thanksgiving too.
A lot of them. I think it's great.
Yeah.
That people take a stand.
I think the bars should be open.
Neighborhood bars.
That's a great convivial. Everybody kind of comes together, has a drink.
I agree.
After Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. But it's just nice. It feels good to be in that kind of environment.
A little whiskey.
Yeah.
A little whiskey on the rocks post Turkey Day.
I mean, the worst part about the work that I got into eventually that was more recipe driven and doing some stuff with outside of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Was the magazines wanting to know what was new in Turkey that year. Usually starts around July too. Tell us what's new in Turkey this year.
So you're working on magazines, and in July, They're trying to figure out what everybody's excited
What's
about.
the big news story about Thanksgiving this year? And it's the one holiday that actually no one ever wants to actually change. But
Right.
there's this like rabid.
How interesting
Like, what's
is
going
that?
on new? What's there some brand new sides this year? It's like nobody's ever going to do this.
No.
They want the same thing, and they're
Yeah.
angry if you don't do the same thing year after
Absolutely.
year.
I've been doing this no carb kick for last couple months, and this season, and maybe this goes back to the whole idea of why like it's the busy restaurant time. I have been going crazy on stuffing.
Yeah.
Like just the very thought of any kind of bread product with gravy on it is just it's
Savory bread pudding. It's
oh,
great.
it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. But anyway, so you were actually bringing up a famous protein tradition, meat tradition that you wanted to talk about with Thanksgiving.
Oh, the turducken.
Yeah.
You know,
I've never
that
had
comes
one.
up-
I've never
Who
had one.
would?
I've never seen one.
You just can't have something with the name turd in it and actually have it be appealing. You know, it's just like this Jabba the Hutt-ish type of amalgamation of meats. It's just kind of something that sounds fun, but like, look, think about it this way. You have a turkey and then a duck and then a chicken and then a quail if you're really being fancy, right?
And I think some of them go even crazier and add like guinea fowl and like there's one French one that I saw for the first time in a long time that has like 17 animals in it.
Yeah, that's insane.
Sounds disgusting.
Well, the problem is that to cook that thing in the center,
Yes.
you can't just have it cook you can't cook it to medium because the thing in the middle will be raw.
That's yes.
So you have to hammer the fuck out
Out
of
of the whole
every other
thing.
thing
Yeah, exactly.
for it to actually be something edible, like healthily edible.
Oh, the other part about it is, okay, to me, the idea of a floppy duck with no crispy skin is deplorable. It's a waste of that poor animal's life.
Yeah.
Like, half the beauty of duck is the crispy skin.
Yeah.
So come on with
Right.
with the bullshit.
Well, it's just
right?
also it's kind of one of these things that it's cool because it's possible, but you know the amount of work that goes into boning all those things out so that you can
Well, then on
stack them
top
up.
of that,
and-
if you really want to make a cool ass protein to celebrate the season, just wrap the turkey in bacon. Like, is that not enough fucking
enough
like
of a challenge.
saturated fat for you? But then I'm thinking to myself, all right, a turducken hits the table. Ooh, like talking about
Well,
it is more fun than
What
eating
does,
it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But what does it look like? How do you slice that down?
How does everybody get a piece of everything?
It looked like haggis on a plate. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. And you're right about that crispy skin thing. I didn't think about that before. But it'd have to be like, do you sear it before you put it in?
Well, the
It would be
moment you stuff
crispy,
it back
but-
in, it's over. The
right,
dream is
but
over.
at least it'd be rendered somewhat.
Right. Yes. Well, A, I've never seen a turducken. B, I've never tasted a turducken. Obviously, if I haven't seen one.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear from some listeners out there who the hell has ever even had one. Okay, so as far as veering from the traditional roasted turkey, fried turkey, I've never had. I've always
Any
wanted
other-
to try.
Yeah. Seems
But-
like too much of a commitment just having that oil around.
Well, aside from the commitment, I feel like every other time I hear anything about fried turkey, it's about how somebody either blew their face off or like got into a fire, right? So I've also heard somebody saying that they had a friend that dropped the whole turkey into the fryer and it was frozen.
Oh, God.
And it was like,
That
yeah.
would be like, remember we made those bacon bombs in the desert?
Yes, exactly right. So I think what ended up happening was it overflowed all the oil.
Yeah, of
Then the
course.
element fucking burnt out and it was just a mess and they didn't end up having turkey. But
They don't deserve to have turkey
no.
if you did that.
No, I agree. I agree.
You go out for sandwiches.
Absolutely. Well,
By the
Chinese
way,
food.
somebody sent me a sign of a Potbelly advertisement, Potbelly sandwich. You know that?
Yeah,
Potbelly,
the
right?
sandwich. Yeah.
They have a turducken sandwich now.
Which is what? Which is what?
It's turkey.
Which is what? 4 ounces of Oscar Mayer turkey, right? With duck flavoring and chicken jus?
I don't know.
How do you make a turducken sandwich?
I don't know. You layered it up.
What a farce.
It's like an Italian hoagie, but it's a turkey hoagie.
Okay, so let's reframe this real quick. Could you possibly do a turkey that is stuffed with, let's say, like chicken and duck mousse or something.
I mean, you could if you wanted to.
I'm
It's all
turned
possible.
off by this whole idea.
You turned it off?
I'm turned off.
I think that the only way you could actually make it kind of fun and to do it would to be make it into kind of like a terrine. So it's layered.
Okay.
You know? It's like a layered game or whatever, game bird terrine.
Right.
But otherwise, it's like a little Jabba the Hutt there, just wiggling around.
It just sounds cooler than it tastes.
Right.
Is what I'm imagining. And I don't feel the need to add chicken to anything at this point.
What did you make for Thanksgiving this year?
Okay, so this year for Thanksgiving, it was a delicious array of classics, which is what it should be. Roasted turkey, which I bought it pre-brined. So sorry for anybody I'm offending out there.
But no, it wasn't even that cold. You have to brine it somewhere is a problem. Whose fridge is big enough to actually brine it?
Yeah, not my
Unless
fridge
it's cold
here in
enough outside.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
You don't necessarily want that hanging out on your back porch.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people always like make such a fuss about the specifics of the brine, how long to brine for. Honestly, I feel like it's all about the cooking method, which I will move on to in a moment. But so just did turkey and rubbed, and it was a pre-brined turkey, which I loved. Right, went to Whole Foods and they have like all these like organic and local and like the big ass turkeys that you can tell like have been hanging out for a while. And I saw in like the big freezer kind of reach in thing, pre-brined maple brine turkey.
Sweet.
I don't remember what the company was, but it was fantastic. I just threw it in the fridge, and a couple days later it was thawed. And cooking method, which I think is the most important, because I just repeated this at Christmas after my girlfriend's family was questioning whether it was going to be long enough, the roast. So and this is all Alton Brown. All Alton Brown. I'll give it, hail to Alton Brown, gets all of the credit. So I've kind of adapted the idea that you do a super high heat to start and then let the turkey kind of mellow out over time. So what I've done is, depending on the size of the turkey, let's say anything from 15 to 25 pounds, between 45 minutes to an hour of high heat. So 500 degrees. And then from that moment on, once the skin looks golden and everything looks cool, turn it down to 250, and just after that hour to 45 minutes, just 2 hours. And it's pretty much worked for every bird of every size.
Yeah, you kind of have to have it that high because a turkey that big, you could have your oven up to 500, right?
Yeah.
And like you put that turkey in, it drops that temperature down like crazy
of the entire
for a long time. So you got to like overcompensate
right
for the size of 20-pound thing that's going in this oven.
Right, that's absorbing all this heat.
Right.
So
plus, did you stuff it?
I used to as a kid.
Yeah,
I've always been the cook.
school.
I've always loved cooking. I used to stuff the bird as a kid, and now looking back, especially with all, not that turkey ever really has a salmonella issue. I think turkey's one of the few, like guinea fowl, you can eat turkey medium. Like you can actually
eat chicken medium too. You could eat chicken rare if you wanted to.
Really?
It's only the salmonella is an internal
Oh.
flora, so it gets on the outside of the skin when they're dunking it in water to clean it.
And gutting it and all that stuff.
So it's like when they get in this water that's dunking over and over again,
So
the salmonella gets
you
on
can
the
eat
outside.
chicken rare?
You could eat chicken tataki if you want. It's not gonna make you sick.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's obviously not interacting with salmonella and all.
Right, but the salmonella would never be inside the chicken breast.
Interesting.
Right? So you could really just, if you want to be sure, you sear it on the outside.
And then the inside's always good.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Bah. So
it's just not part of our culture. We would never do that.
Correct.
But I've been to some Japanese restaurants before where they had like a chicken sashimi type thing.
And you ate it?
Pretty weird.
And you ate it?
Yeah, I ate it.
And what did you think?
Try. Well, I mean, it's disgusting.
It was disgusting.
I mean, I'm not going to do it again.
It's a cultural, textural thing. It doesn't mean that it's disgusting. It actually might taste good. And if you closed your eyes and thought it was amberjack,
I was like trying to put it in the soy sauce to cure.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first thing I thought. That's the first thing I thought. So, nice juicy bird, right?
Yeah.
After it's been roasted on a high heat and then chilled out for 2 hours. And then stuffing, which for me, stuffing is it's the ultimate.
But outside the bird. I think that's a huge
Outside
key.
the bird, correct.
Then you get that heat coming up the inside too, so you're not... And plus, again, it's like the turducken. To cook that stuffing, which usually has egg in it and stuff,
Yeah.
you got to overcook the whole turkey to get the
Exactly.
stuffing
It's not
cooked.
worth it.
So leave it open, put a few aromatics in there,
So yeah,
roast inside out.
So my latest stuffing obsession, and I love stuffing. I love stuffing so much that stovetop to me is delicious. I love it. But stuffing for me now is it's mirepoix, of course. Saute that off. Bacon and mushrooms. I like both of those in the stuffing. And then, of course, a bunch of stock, add some bread, and it could be cornbread, it could be, wheat bread, just any kind of dry bread. And then, and then to me, I realized this after trying to replicate the stovetop flavors in like a homemade version. It's just about a ton of sage. You put a ton of sage.
That's a good thing
there.
about Thanksgiving is
Yeah.
when else do you pull out the rubbed sage?
Exactly right.
So that's the one year you're
Exactly
dusting off
right.
that bottle.
Yeah, exactly right.
Use 3 tablespoons a year.
So tons of sage, and then bake it off, and it's great. And then all the drippings from the. So here's a question I have for you, because I've noticed that, especially buying these pre-brined birds, that the jus that accumulates from the turkey on the bottom of the pan can sometimes get a little salty.
Oh, for sure.
But that's what is usually I would use to make a nice gravy. And so, do you have any tricks on how you can...
I never really used the pan. I never really
pan
got
drippings?
enough. There was just more fat.
So you just make your own stock or something?
I would take the wingtips off, use the neck.
I love the neck, by the way. The roasted neck is incredible.
Roast, kind of sear that all off in butter and shallots and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, and then
add
use those to make
chicken stock to it if I'm at home, and
Got
kind
it.
of make a gravy.
Got it.
Add a little beurre Meunier in there at the end.
Okay,
Some
got
kind
it.
of roux or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you get here and there, but usually it's over kind of veg or on a rack. I don't know. It just feels like there's
I know
more
what you mean.
fat in there than...
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, because I'd spend half the time skimming fat off of it before I can make anything with it. But, I mean, for me, it's stuffing. Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. Those are great for Thanksgiving. And then outside of that, I mean, of course, there's classics. Mashed potatoes. There's sweet potato casserole. Everybody seems to be in love with that. I mean,
It's too sweet for me.
Too sweet for me, too. I've never been into it. Corn. I've always thought any buttered corn is a great time. For some reason I always associate
I'm kind of a big fan
it
of frozen peas. I love frozen peas.
with butter and mint, or just like classic.
like cocktail onions and not cocktail onions.
I know
but
what you mean. Yeah, pearl onions. Yeah,
I'd love a few bags. I always have a few bags of
nice
frozen peas. They're always
Swanson.
perfect. They're delicious.
In case Swanson wants to throw us a little love. So those are my go-tos. Are you? What is your top side?
Top side. I think the stuffing is always the kind of... That's the thing that is the king.
Me too.
Usually.
For me too.
I think, Brussels sprouts, roasted carrot, whatever. All that kind of stuff. As long as you have mashed potatoes, stuffing, and turkey, you're pretty much good.
No, you're set. You're covered.
Right.
You're covered. I agree. In the on the Puerto Rican side, there was usually mashed potatoes, but they were horrible. They were like
yuca in them or something?
which yuca by itself, I'm not a big fan of yuca either. Just, you know what it is? I'm looking back on it, watching my aunt try to make olive oil mashed potatoes with olives in them.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just the Puerto Ricanization.
But I thought they were
of
the
it.
mofongo, potato champions of the world.
That for sure. I mean, because they also do mashed plantains with pork fat and garlic, and that shit's bomb.
Right.
But you take a Puerto Rican aunt chef out of her element and ask her to make mashed potatoes, and most of the time it's an atrocity, in my experience. So I remember
they add too many different things to it.
that, or for some reason, dude, they make potato salad, and that's the mashed potato for the day.
It's hot down there.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That makes sense now. But but a big thing was arroz con gandules, which is rice with pigeon eye peas.
Uh-huh.
That's always shows up to every holiday.
I thought that was a New Year's Eve It's a Southern New Year's Eve thing.
I think in the U.S.
Yeah.
But in Puerto Rican and Dominican, just all that whole Caribbean Hispanic culture, rice with pigeon-eye peas or rice and peas,
Right.
with like a little annatto to color it, is like a classic, always shows up kind of Thanksgiving treat.
That's cool.
And I like that. I like that a lot.
What'd you cook for Christmas?
So this Christmas, I spent with my girlfriend and her family out in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and they're great, and they're just classic, right? And it's funny, I feel like most of the American families that I've spent Christmas with, it's either ham or turkey.
Or both.
Or both. That makes it to the table. But we roasted off an awesome turkey, and then, aunts and mom were in charge of sides, so they took care of, like, it was pretty much Thanksgiving all over again. And it was awesome. And the same thing. Every time I go into this cooking, for some reason, I'm always the meat master. Well, for obvious reasons. But I'm always the meat master in, like, the cooking, whether
Wait, I
it's
thought you
grilling
made
or whatever.
a pork crown roast.
That was Christmas Eve with my stepmom's side is Dominican, and we did a pork crown roast. We did prime rib. We had arroz con gandules. We had pasteles. We had empanadas, so everybody kind of brought their own little thing, which was great. We had shrimp cocktail. It was an array of classics. See, on my Spanish side, the Spaniard side, my dad is Basque. It was a tradition to always do lamb. For some reason, Christmas and lamb always came together, whether it was rack of lamb, roasted leg of lamb.
I did lamb this year.
Did you? Awesome.
Did lamb shanks in like a tagine style. Dried apricots, Marcona almonds, bunch of spices.
Slow braised.
Really slow braised.
And so, what did you eat? Did you put it with pita or couscous?
I did a couscous and chickpea kind of thing.
Nice.
And then, what else did I have? Eggplant pomegranate salad.
Eggplant pomegranate salad.
I seared some eggplants, like kind of roasted them.
Will you just like do the salt cure to pull water out?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay.
Just to let them kind of drain out.
Sure.
It's supposed to pull some bitterness out.
Okay.
I think sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But you don't really know until you taste it. So It's kind of one of these things. Then just kind of pan roasted it in some olive oil with a touch of butter. And eggplants are kind of, you got to play this game with them because you can't keep adding oil because they soak it up until they start to release it. So they have to add just enough that they'll keep cooking without just becoming oil bombs.
Right.
Because they'll suck it all up.
Right.
You have to kind of watch it.
In the Middle Eastern world of foods, I'm always like more than pleasantly, like I always end up liking the eggplant salad the best of all the awesome like meze and stuff that show up between the carrot salad and the tabbouleh.
More than carrot salad.
I love a good eggplant salad. And so what do you throw in your eggplant salad?
Well, actually, it wasn't really a salad, but I layered these stacks on a plate flat.
Okay.
And then put this really thin, like harissa over the top of them after they were cooked with some Meyer lemon juice.
Oh, nice.
So I had all these lemons that I grew.
Yeah.
All over the place. And then some lebna on top of that.
What's lebna again?
It's like the Middle Eastern sour cream stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then I made pomegranate salad with red onions, more lemon juice, olive oil, red onions. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Pomegranates, chopped fresh mint, and parsley. And then I just put big heaping spoonfuls over that.
Oh, nice.
And that was
sounds great.
Yeah, it was really delicious.
That sounds great.
It was mostly un-Americans at my table. So I had Luxembourgish and Russian and,
That's nice.
So it wasn't like we could break from tradition quite easily.
Right.
And just from spending time in Morocco earlier in the year, I always like that food anyway. I eat like that all the time. So
absolutely.
Then the braise had cinnamon and turmeric for a little color and coriander and
this is your lamb braise.
Yeah, I put a few dates in there just so they like melt in and give it a little bit of sweetness.
Nice.
Some chili flakes. There's like 4 other things I put in there.
What a Christmas, huh?
Yeah, it was great. And I had it for like 3 days afterwards.
Interestingly enough, though, a Moroccan. So there really isn't. They don't. Morocco in general is a Muslim country, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool that you would bring some non-Christian flavors to a Christian holiday, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's cool.
I don't know. That wasn't really.
I like that paradox. I'm sure it was unplanned, but I like that paradox.
It would have been kind of weird if I did like pork tagine, I guess.
Well, I think you just came up with a new restaurant concept. So, so then, how about in restaurant years and
I don't ever remember being open on Christmas. I don't ever remember it.
Christmas Day? Yeah, me neither.
And New Year and Christmas Eve was usually pretty dead.
Now, I do remember that Christmas, because I have a Jewish component to my family, because I had a Jewish stepfather for almost a decade. And they had a pretty cool thing where I think on Christmas it was like tradition to like go to a movie and then like eat Chinese food or something.
It's great.
I think that's pretty cool too. Since of course they do their Hanukkah thing and whatever.
Because if I wasn't at home, that's kind of what you do in New York. If I wasn't going home for Christmas,
right?
Then you're just on your own. You're going to the movies and
eating Chinese food.
Well, the restaurant. That's because those are the only restaurants that are open.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Peking duck on Christmas Day. Nice.
Peking duck, and I'm in the mood for Chinese food, so maybe we'll have to hit Meili Wa before you leave tonight.
I haven't been there before 4 a.m. ever.
It was maybe we'll have
I don't know if
later.
that good. We'll see.
Exactly. So cool. So then after Christmas,
the big event
of the year, which is coming up, New Year's Eve. Actually, my least favorite service of the year.
The worst.
I fucking hate
Was
New
it
Year's
worse
Eve.
than Mother's Day?
Absolutely.
Really?
There is nothing worse.
Easter Sunday brunch?
There is nothing worse on, every...
Brunch has got to be... Any brunch service has got to be worse than any dinner service.
No way. Okay. And this is where the front of the house aspect of management really blows. Especially if you are involved in any kind of wine program or beverage program that is intense. So, usually, everything's insane from the fucking moment you walk in the door. You're overbooked. People are fucking trying to add to their reservation. It's mayhem, right? From the moment you walk in. You're printing new menus.
It's like all of a sudden it's a different restaurant.
It's a different restaurant. Yeah, you're updating the POS with new menu items. And then... you've got...
It's a whole new menu.
Did all the champagne come in? Is the champagne chilled? Are the fucking 4 bottles of champagne that we're going to sell tonight? Because everybody has this falsified idea that because it's New Year's, every table's ordering champagne. No.
Wasn't it sometimes included?
That's the problem, too, is you're trying to give everybody an incentive to get, to come in, and now you're pouring, Wycliffe, $2.50 a bottle sparkling off for everybody to toast with. It's it's horrible. And anyway, so you add all these champagnes to the list as if anybody's gonna order champagne. 1 out of 10 tables order champagne.
Really?
It's really a blue ball
are you talking
holiday.
bottle or glass? Even they're not even getting a glass of champagne.
Some will. No, look.
But it's mostly included.
Well, how about this? Every sommelier and restaurant person has this romanticized idea that every table is going to start off with the half bottle of this beautiful grower champagne, or I'm going to get a nice little bottle of Bilicart Salmon Rosé to start out.
Explain it really quickly. Sorry, what the grower champagne? What is that again?
Okay, so grower champagne, you've got your classic large house champagnes like Moet and Veuve, who make this house blended style from multiple growers. They'll buy fruit from a variety of families, French families that have been there for a long time. But then there's grower champagnes, which traditionally are much smaller. They'll release their bottlings earlier. They have more unique styles because it's not a blend of a variety of, vineyards and fields and stuff.
So they're growing all their own grapes. Yeah,
that's why. So it's called grower champagne because they might. Let's say they have a parcel of 10 acres, and maybe they sell 40% of what they grow to a larger champagne house just to have steady income, and then, maybe half of what they produce they'll make their own bottling with, and those are and this whole movement is a really cool thing. Is in many cases you can get a less available, smaller production. unique style of champagne for, as much or even less of a price.
Got it.
And they're really cool. Anyway, but, from a sommelier side, you have, like, this romantic idea that people are coming in and they're not going to be like, I'll have White Star, right? You want to be like, no, you don't want White Star. You want to try this Lilbert Fils, or you want to try, Aiguille. Like, you just want to, like, push on them. Anyway, so you romanticize this idea, like, everybody's going to come in tonight.
The big night.
And order this fucking beautiful half bottle or bottle of champagne. Then from there, they're going to have, like, a great bottle of wine with dinner. And, dude, 9 times out of 10, it's just a amateur night.
I always felt like New Year's Eve was restaurant week with foie gras.
Correct.
Like, it's just everyone's scrambling around. You get people who ever come to the restaurant once a year, if that, or it's like their one big night out. Right. And then the menu's always different. There's just it's chaos for no reason, so that you can charge more money. But at what cost? I would push to have the same goddamn menu, or reduce a few things off, and have a killer prefix on the side. That's it. Don't do anything any different.
Well, dude, so you've always got surf and turf that night. You've always, like you said, you've got some foie gras dish. Gold leaf, whatever. And so you add a few champagnes to the list. You're all excited. Nobody gets champagne. Everybody's downing fucking Captain Morgan and Diet. You got a bunch of dudes. It's just, this is what it turns out. You want New Year's Eve. You want and romanticize New Year's Eve into being this, like,
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, exactly. Like this culinary adventure, this experience that everybody's gonna fucking, like, jump on board and, like, you know what? Tonight's the night. I'm going to have a beautiful bottle of Chablis with oysters. But no, dude, it's like, this is what it turns out to be, right? And this is my South Jersey nightmare. It's a bunch of dudes with, like, their collars popped, and they've got, like, those button-up shirts with, like, the sleeve that you pull back, and it's got, like, a paisley design on the inside, right? And they're all, like, puffing out their chest with hair coming out. Let's start with a Belvedere on the rocks, and that just turns into Bacardi and Diet the rest of the night. Girlfriend or wife is on her 4th glass of Pinot Grigio. Now all of a sudden the host desk is getting packed because the first people that came in at 5 o'clock have nowhere to be until midnight, right? Your 7:30 seating is pissed off at the bar. Now you're trying to figure out why a button for the lobster special isn't in the POS. You know what I mean? All the servers are going crazy because they can't turn their table. Fucking, grandma's on her 7th espresso after she couldn't finish her lamb with mint jelly that's sitting in the side station fridge. Everybody is just freaking out because if I don't get my 7:30s and 8 o'clocks down now, my 11 o'clocks are fucked.
Right.
And this is just the way it goes.
Going out at 1 a.m.
Oh, dude. So then, then the 8 o'clocks don't sit till 9. But now this is their license to say, well, everybody else got up late. I'm going to sit late too. And it just rolls into horror the rest of the evening. Because now I'm sitting at the line. I need food out. People are fucking complaining everywhere. Nobody's having fun. Nobody is having fun. The service staff isn't having fun. The line isn't having fun. The guests aren't having fun. Everybody's backed up for no reason, right? And inevitably, right, it's 11:45. And there's half the restaurant has not gotten their entrees yet. Right? Yeah. And I can already see on every service staff person's face that they can't wait to either go outside and make a phone call, as they should, to somebody they love, or fucking make out with the hostess in the corner closet, or just start sneaking alcohol. And meanwhile, you've got a board on the line full of tickets.
People are trying to walk out.
Every single fucking line cook can't wait to go outside for a cigarette, as they should. And 11:59 hits. The fucking restaurant explodes into chaos. There's fucking food in the window. There's food in the window. All the staff is fucking going bonkers. Everybody forgets they're at work. I'm trying to fucking navigate chaos. Food's sitting there dying. And then you've got all these people who are like, I don't have my entrees. You know what I mean? And like, it's horror. I fucking hate every second of it. I almost feel like you should stop seating at 10 o'clock to ensure all dinners are out.
See, that's the thing. And by the way,
God.
That was a magnificent rant. I mean, I'm so
pissed.
fucking glad we have this recorded. That's all anybody ever needs to say about New Year's Eve.
I fucking hate New Year's,
but
dude.
It's because you try to do too much.
Yes.
It's like you get little dollar signs in your eyes and it's going to be a big night, and then it's like adding all this nutsness instead of being like, you know what, last thing at 10, done. Let's just do half the covers we expect to do. We'll get a few walk-ins and everything will be great. And
I've never had a good experience on New Year's. Ever. Because... ever, dude. It fucking pisses me off. Like, when I was a server, it was the kitchen, right? When I was a server for my first couple of New Year's, where the fuck is my food? Where is my food?
Because it's brand new dishes. They're still figuring it out.
Dude, and like I go up to the line, it's fucking midnight. There's like an 8-top without food. They're all like celebrating, kind of, because they're looking at me like, you asshole forgot to ring my order in. No, I didn't. It just happens to be that every line cook is outside drinking fucking chartreuse or Pernod from the fucking escargot dish with Coca-Cola, making phone calls and smoking cigarettes. You're not getting your food for the next 15 minutes. Then I go to my manager, yo, I need food on the table now. I got an 8-top, pissed. And well,
that's where the extra champagne comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Let's give them some extra champagne so that their inhibition on how much they hate you can truly come out. And then moving into management, now I'm trying to corral a bunch of fucking ADD like insanity where like the server is by the dumpster making out with the hostess who should be grabbing coats for a bunch of pissed off ladies who are trying to leave. And the fucking server hasn't even checked on their table in 45 minutes. I'm filling waters. Dude, trying to get people to finish service on New Year's, it's like the worst part about it is
it gets really
I don't want to be that guy.
It gets really
I don't want to be the guy that goes out into the back of the restaurant and has to be like, hey guys, let's ring in 2019 the right way. Get on the fucking line and finish your work. Get on the fucking floor. You know what I mean? I want to be the one that's like, yo, pass me a cigarette.
Right.
But you can't.
No.
You can't, right? So then you're put in the awkward situation of being the one fucking asshole who's ringing in the new year like a tyrant. Because you just want to finish your shift. Then all your friends...
You can feel it. You can feel the mutiny starting to happen.
Oh, dude, it's horrible.
So you're really trying to pull everybody together.
I'm like, hey, man, remember that time you asked me for an extra $1 because you've been working here for 2 years and you've been making sauteed spinach, the best sauteed spinach in the world, for the last 3, and I told you no, and now I'm going to come in and yell at you because I need sauteed spinach. But anyway, and then...
So what would
clean up?
Oh, clean up.
Cleanup is fucking a disaster because the fucking private events manager thought it was a great idea to buy a bunch of fucking glitter and put it on every table because that's what every drunk 60-year-old needs. An excuse to fucking bomb the restaurant. It's not even like at this point the kids are an issue because the kids are gone. It's a bunch of drunk 60-year-old men who think it's a great idea to start throwing shit everywhere. So now we gotta clean that up. Nobody wants to clean because they want to spend time with their family and drink. I get it. The bus boys are pissed.
Do you ever make the decision to come in the next day and do it? Just lock the door?
No, because God forbid ownership decides on the day, like on January 1, that they want to come and ransack the fucking walk-ins and steal wine. Well, it's their wine, so they can have it. But God forbid they come in and anything is awry.
Right.
Anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? As I'm getting emails about why there's fucking a 6-pan of fucking sauce that wasn't run through the dishwasher on New Year's. Anyway, so then After all this shit, the cleanup, we gotta put tables away. There's extra chairs everywhere. Nobody wants to work. Everybody's half in the bag. I want to yell at everybody because you're not supposed to be drinking. But you know what? It's fucking New Year's.
Everybody just pulled a 14-hour shift.
Everybody's pulled a 14-hour shift. And guess what? The fucking fun has just begun. It has just begun. Because I don't want to come in on New Year's Day and it's inventory time. It's fucking time to count the inventory. And here I am. And of course, I feel bad. I feel bad that other people have lives. I feel bad that they have wives and children. Sure, you can go home. It's 2 a.m. We just put a bunch of chairs and tables away. I'm going to count till 5:30 in the morning and then drive home to a pissed off girlfriend who's laying in bed, drunk, and it's over. Guess what? What was your New Year's? Happy New Year. My New Year was like this. I had to add 7 new grower champagnes to my inventory count sheet that nobody bought. That's how my New Year's was.
I do feel like this is kind of why. Like New Year's, what do you do on New Year's now as a semi-civilian? What do you do? Nothing? Because that sounds great to me.
What do I do on New Year's now?
You still have post-traumatic stress?
On New Year's? Yeah, I do.
You need to take a break? You need a little breath?
On New Year's now, I'd like to have a nice dinner at home. I like to avoid the public.
Go out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like
do
to
not
avoid
go
the
out.
public. I like to...
Because it's not that great to eat out on New Year's either.
No, it sucks. It's the worst.
Right.
New Year's Day is the worst day to eat out. It's for all the reasons I just went through. The staff doesn't want to be there. The fucking... Nobody wants to cook these new dishes. Nobody wants to fucking... I mean,
it's fun kind of planning it.
What do you
like,
want to clean in a
fancy
restaurant?
Yeah.
You want to just do it at home. Do it at fucking home. God. So... I feel like half the people that go to a restaurant, half the people that go to a restaurant for New Year's Eve is because they have a significant other working in said restaurant.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, and I've had that too, where I have like an aunt and an uncle.
Right. That's the only way they can be together, right? That's the only way you can.
And of course,
celebrate
they're
together.
the ones that get the worst service. You know what I mean? Because you're running around like a fucking idiot with your head cut off. And you're like, oh, my aunt and uncle won't hate me if I don't come and refill their fucking water or grab their, you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Is it really worse, though, than brunch?
Yes. New Year's Day service or New Year's Eve service is the symbolic like it is everything I hate about working in restaurants all lumped into one fuck of a service. It's the worst. The worst. And honestly, like looking back on it, like I feel really bad for any manager that has to work on New Year's, because it's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible. And it's the one place, like, I feel like you can walk the streets, right? You could walk the streets of, like, I don't know, Aleppo on New Year's Day, and people are clinging in New Year's Eve, and people are clinging in, like, showing some sort of, like, you know, gesture of happiness. You want to fucking feel hatred and putrid attitude? Walk into a restaurant at 12:05 and look for 4 or 5 tables that haven't gotten dinner yet. Then you can feel the wrath that is just humanity in general.
Because they got somewhere to go usually.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not their fault. I would be pissed too. I want to eat and get the fuck out. I'm supposed to go to a dinner party or a cocktail party at night. Anyway, so yeah. And then, of course, I always worked in restaurants that didn't have the fucking TV, like, radio piped through the fucking, you know, the stereo system. So then I've got, like, 50 blue-haired women looking at me like I'm an asshole because the fucking guy for the last minute, they can't hear him on the television ringing in the new year. Who was it? Fucking the guy on ABC? I don't even know. But so now I'm an asshole. I'm trying to figure out how to get food out, how to get the stereo piped in through the television so everybody can ring in the new 5, 4. Like, it's too much. Too much. And then on January 2nd, at 12:01, I need your inventory numbers. I need your inventory numbers.
Don't you just fake it at that point? Don't you just like...
No, because it's the new year. It's 2019, right?
You don't just take last month's inventory sheets and...
Dude, it's 2019.
You're hardcore.
One of my things is like, all right, this is the last count of the year. This has got to be beyond perfect. This has got to be an exemplary inventory. This has got to be the inventory people write poems about. Perfection. Not 1.7 Grey Goose. 1.64982. It's got to be perfect.
I would probably take inventory like the morning of the 2nd. That would probably be my move. There's no way. I despise inventory as it is.
Who likes inventory?
No, I mean I
don't think anyone likes inventory.
It. Well, the people asking for the numbers do.
Yeah, the people. No, they don't even like it.
No, they don't.
They hate it. Why are you off by 5%? I don't fucking know. Check that stupid ass Excel spreadsheet you gave me. So
what are you doing this year for New Year's?
I have no plans.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was, and this will be the 7th year that this is done. So what ended up happening was the hatred for New Year's Eve was so real and so
I can
palpable.
have the same thing for Valentine's Day, but that's another show.
And I agree with you.
It's the same thing.
That
Except
is almost
that's
the back of the house equivalent,
right?
I think, to New Year's Eve. But so what ended up happening was after let's call it 10 years of New Year's Eve bullshit, a group of us wine friends banded together and said, you know what, New Year's Eve is obviously for the birds. It's for the amateurs, and it's a day for us. It's almost like a day of penance. Like we suffer. We all turn into Jesus that day. We suffer for like the restaurant's sins on New Year's. And then on New Year's Day, we would all get together and ring in the New Year's with like a champagne bubble bash.
You get all that grower's champagne that
exactly.
didn't get sold.
Exactly.
That's where the inventory comes in.
Correct.
Are there 12 bottles or are there 9 left? Because you had to comp them out to a few tables that didn't get their food because the kitchen's so slow, right?
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Le Monde et Bernier, for some reason, everybody wanted it. So that's our day. And, a bunch of us will get together. So we'll do it this year. At my friend Aaron Miller's house, if anybody hears this and wants to go. So, dude, yeah. So I usually do one classic thing, which has become like a staple of the day. I'm gonna guess.
Go
ahead, yeah.
Your crab stuffed bacchio peppers.
No, but I love those. So for some reason, what ended up happening was, I guess on the first bubble bash that we did, I was running out of time because I got home at 5 a.m. and the party was at noon. People started showing up. And I was going to do all these like bacon wrapped scallops.
It's hard.
It's hard, man. And
you can't have any overlap on the bacon because then it doesn't...
Well, on top of that, me, the idiot that I am, I'm like, oh, let's fucking impress a bunch of people. All they want to do is fucking eat Doritos and get hammered. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to make,
I think you gotta cook the bacon first. You gotta like par cook the bacon.
Well, and here's the masochism at its finest. I didn't buy sliced bacon. I bought a whole fucking belly of bacon, like an idiot. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna wake up at 9 after I did inventory all night, slice bacon down, par cook it on parchment paper, wrap it around bacon, and then grill it. Idiot. So anyway, what I did was people start showing up, and I'm feeling fucked. So I threw the whole belly of bacon in the oven and just rendered it down for like an hour and then just cut it into big chunks. And then it turned into this thing where like people are like, I fucking love that. Yeah. So now that's the thing is I'll just buy a whole slab of bacon. I'll roast it in the oven for like 2 hours.
Nice.
And then cut it into cubes and just grill it. Give it a char. And that's like the hors d'oeuvre that I'll bring. And then my buddy Ryan, he did a...
If Jeff Fader is listening, I think that's what you call a happy accident.
There you go! That was a happy accident. I'm a bad artist. Yeah. So and then my buddy Ryan, he doesn't eat meat, so we would always do some like smoked salmon or something. So he makes like fresh creme fraiche, and he'll do like a bunch of chopped egg white and onion and all that stuff. So the accoutrement for smoked salmon. And then sometimes people will bring guac and all that stuff. But dude, it's the best day because it's It's usually all industry people, which I think on that level there's just an appreciation for each other.
Keep it easy.
You know, we all have the day off finally,
Right.
which for some reason restaurateurs feel like it's appropriate to open on New Year's Day now.
What?
Yeah, dude, all over the place. New Year's Day is now becoming a day you have to work.
Boycott.
Boycott! Band together! No more of this bullshit.
No.
So anyway, my poor girlfriend is working on New Year's Day, so she won't be enjoying these festivities.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
I think a lot of people...
I thought that was like the understood thing. Like
New
you're
Year's-
closed
right.
New Year's Day.
Right.
Like that's no
No.
matter when, no matter if it falls on a Friday or what.
I agree.
It's closed.
I agree, man. That's the way it should be. But anyway, so yeah, we all get together, and so instead of we don't necessarily celebrate New Year's Eve. We always celebrate New Year's Day.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like a Boxing Day.
How about you? Do you got a New Year's Day thing?
Yes, New Year's Day. It's going to be pretty awesome. Kind of the same type of thing.
Okay.
A buddy of mine who works on a farm out in the North Fork at 8 Hands Farm, Julian Shapiro. We used to work together too. But he has all these amazing, they raise pigs and chickens and lamb and all this kind of stuff. And he's like a charcuterie mastermind.
Nice.
Really, some of the best charcuterie in the States is at this farm in Long Island.
Nice,
It's
that's
insane.
sick.
So he's having kind of a feast out there. So he's super like francophile out. So there's going to be cassoulet and
cool.
all the craziest, heaviest stuff you could absolutely want for a winter day.
Absolutely. And is the restaurant like, what's the setting like? Is it like
It's a farm.
Restaurant on a farm?
It's like a
in
deli
barn or
case
something?
with a bunch of charcuterie.
Okay.
And then they have a food truck there that they do breakfast sandwiches and things like that, like fried chicken and
Cool.
So you get a little before after shot with
Oh,
the fried
nice.
chicken in the basket and then
And
chicken's
do
running
they have a
around.
liquor license, or will you guys bring your own?
No, we'll just bring our own.
Okay, cool.
His house is close to the farm. That's where he does all the stuff, right?
Oh, but
it's
so is
gonna
this
be
happening
all-
at his house?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
So it's it's more of like a friendly reunion.
But it's totally
not,
cool. It's the same kind of industry thing because people are off, right? But
That's
you still
really cool.
kind of want to enjoy all these things. So there'll be there's a ton of wineries out there. So some growers from the local wineries will be there. And there's a snail farm out there. Those guys are going to be there. So there's going to be a cool, eclectic bunch and
That's
mix of
really cool.
food and drink and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to
Speaking
that.
of, I mean, so I feel like on the North Fork, there's a couple pretty good bubbles producers, and
For sure. Sparkling Point, it's a really good one.
Okay, cool. Is Wolfer there, or is Wolfer?
Wolfert's on the South Fork.
Is on the South Fork.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But there's something like 70 wineries out there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, we've been out there.
But it's kind of funny. It's the same thing. It's like industry or ex-industry
It's
or
the best.
industry-centric type people come
It's the
together
best.
and
I wonder-
really kind of have their own Thanksgiving in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah, well, you know what? And it's a
With
culmination.
really good food and champagne.
It's a cult. That's why the New Year's Day service is really irking me. Not just for my girlfriend, but for everybody who has to work New Year's Day, because I feel like all these holidays from Thanksgiving to Christmas to now New Year's, this is the crescendo. Like, and you put all this hard work and you've been getting your ass kicked all season,
Right.
And then I feel like New Year's Day should be like, okay, we just got our ass kicked. We've been working overtime. We've been doing extra shifts. We've been open for extra services.
Well, plus the mise en place is all fucked.
Right.
Because you're starting from, you don't have any
And
of that
honestly,
stuff.
who goes out to eat on New Year's Day? Everybody's hungover. Maybe if you're a diner, talk about the worst brunch
What
of
else?
all time.
Right.
Worst brunch service. Jesus. But what do you want to okay, so what do you want to eat on New Year's Day?
Well, since I'm not
Are you
Mr.
taking-
New Year's Eve, so I'm not going out. We're not.
Okay.
I'm not going out.
But are you
in the
taking
morning.
it you're kicking off your new resolutions and all that? That's part of the reason why
What's your
inventory
resolution?
sucked
What's your
so
resolution?
bad.
I have the same resolution every year. To have better posture.
It's a good one. That's a good one. I have to keep that. My New Year's resolution this year is to figure out how to stay out of day-to-day restaurant operations.
You're not in day-to-day restaurant
Correct.
operations.
So
keep on
keep it on. Now, honestly, I mean, I always want to play more guitar. I always want to I've been hitting the gym lately, so I feel good about that. I want to keep that going. But you always want to learn a new language.
Right.
I'm gonna learn Mandarin. Ni hao. But I think I'm done making a resolution.
Yeah.
I do, because anytime I resolve to resolute something, it never gets done.
That's fair. I mean, that's kind of a...
Yeah.
So New Year's Day is a good time for us, and I think other restaurant people, because that's the day when you can actually connect with people and
Right.
have your
Oh my God.
your
maybe,
Thanksgiving. That's like your time to get together and like be away from it all. It's like the
Maybe
year is done,
New
the
Year's
season
Day.
is done.
Yeah, maybe New Year's Day.
It should be a service industry holiday.
Service Industry Day.
Yeah. I like it.
I fucking love this. I think we've come up with something, because
Right on.
all service industry people deserve a day.
Right.
New Year's Day is it. It
I
should
agree.
not be called New Year's Day. It should be called Service Industry Appreciation Day. What do you think?
I'm down.
All right, let's
Makes
do
sense
this.
to me. I feel like people are open because if it happens to fall, like you get
On
kind
a
of lucky.
Saturday.
Right. Then it's like, well, you must be open, but no.
Right.
No. It's going to be another shit show.
Yeah.
Half the staff isn't going to show up.
That's
or
true,
be
too.
so wasted they do not even belong
Oh, they're
there.
not worth. Yeah.
Right.
They're not worth a shit. All right.
All right, so service industry day. Let's put that together.
All right,
Hashtag
so-
it up.
So anybody who wants to jump in on this, obviously, I think 2019 Service Industry
We'll get
Day
some
is...
T-shirts made or something. And the thing is, you just don't. If you're part of this, you don't show up. You make sure you're on the schedule. You
Mi
make
gente!
Sure, you make sure.
Mi gente! All the Latinos! No showing up!
No,
Fuck
but,
it!
But here's how you really mess with the system. You say, "I want that shift," and then you don't show up.
Ah, yes!
You have to be subversive.
I
You have
love
to,
it.
You have to demolish it from within. You
Right.
can't just stand off. You can't just resist.
You're
You have to
right.
take it down.
You have to take it down with your own bare hands.
Right.
All right, so 2020. I hope we're going to gain the steam. We're going to get into every city, every kitchen. This podcast is going to proliferate across all restaurants, all people.
We should
share it.
We should start a GoFundMe for ourselves to travel around the country and preach this.
Oh, I like this. I like this.
We'll have a $500,000 thing.
Cool.
Put your tips money to this, so we can get you the day off.
All right, my friends. Well, I hope anybody working this year can find time to spend with their friends, their family, have a great bottle of bubbles or some champagne or your drink of choice. And
Refresh responsibly.
Here's to refresh responsibly.
Get through the service the best way you can. Hold it together for your managers out there.
Yes.
So that they're not hurting cats. You're
Yes.
all in this together.
We're all in this together, and we're going to band together to boycott New Year's Day 2020, or as we like to call it, Service Industry Appreciation Day.
See you then. Bye-bye.
OverSeasoned podcast was brought to you by Over Easy Office, outsourced bookkeeping solution.